Hello everyone, JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City video. We're going to be doing the analysis of the big Norwich City away game with Man City being beaten 3-2. I'm going to try my very hardest here not to turn this into a rant, but that might be quite difficult. So like always, make sure if you're interested and you're interested in more football and Manchester City content, make sure you press that red button, subscribe, press the bell, put your push notifications on, aiming for 5,000 subscribers, so any help towards that would be much appreciated. Make sure you leave a thumbs up if you enjoy this video. You can go check out my social media links, my Twitter and Instagram, which you can find in description below and popping up on screen. And don't forget also, most importantly, leave your thoughts in the comments below of this defeat. So yeah, Carrow Road, City have come unstuck with their first Premier League loss of the season. Now, first talking point and first crime to be committed, plenty of crimes committed by City in this where we've got things wrong. De Bruyne benched. Kevin De Bruyne, in my opinion, is Man City's best player. He is a wonderful player, a player that even when he plays bad can still make things happen. Having such quality like that sat on the bench, yeah, that shouldn't be happening. Big Premier League game, we're under pressure, 5 points behind Liverpool. De Bruyne should be starting this game. Fernandinho on the bench, going with John Stones and Nicolas Otamendi. Okay. Fair enough. I mean, it's a bit suspect, the quality. I have spoken my concerns previously about my concerns. John Stones, he's got a huge season coming up. Yeah, and Nicolas Otamendi, yeah. Fernandinho, I know he's not a centre-back, but he is a wonderful player. He's an excellent reader of the football. He knows danger, he smells danger and snuffs it out, either through fouling or through well-read or well-timed tackling, or just judging and organising everything in and around him. He's just a wonderful player, and a player that, in my opinion, I'd have started. I put him in my team prediction. I'd have started Fernandinho in this game rather than Nicolas Otamendi. I did say that. But everything else from City kind of predictable. Gundogan in for Kevin De Bruyne. We've got Walker starting, Zinchenko on the left. Everything predictable. Norwich, they were without 4 senior players apparently. Tete captaining. Krul in net. They've got Pukki the danger man up front too. Lots of problems here for Manchester City. Now, crime number one, biggest crime that we have committed, other than obviously not starting Kevin De Bruyne, but obviously crimes in the games, what I'm on about here. First 15 minutes, City love the first 15 minutes of football games. They love putting their opponents under pressure immediately. First 15 minutes, probably the worst 15 minutes that we've had this season, and probably going to be the worst 15 minutes that we're going to have this season. It was typical after the international break game, but that isn't forgivable. City are full of quality to walk through at the pace, not a lot of intent, patiently waiting for things to happen. First 15 minutes, put your opposition under pressure, give them something to think about. It was all too easy from Man City for the first 15 minutes. We're excellent normally at first 15 minutes. I don't know why for this game that we weren't showing more intent, but it needed to happen. We grab a goal in them first 15 minutes, more intent shown, and desperately going to try and get that goal. We get that goal. Man City come out with a completely different result. Didn't happen in this game. Extremely disappointing. 18 minutes in, the next crime's committed. Near post corners. We were inept, to say the least, last season on them. Are we working on them in training? Are we doing anything in training to work on it? Obviously, we were lacking a physical centre-back. That's why we chased Harry Maguire, but we've not brought a centre-back in. Happy to go what we've got. Happy to go with Fernandinho. Happy to go with John Stones, Aymeric Laporte and Nicolas Otamendi. But we're lacking Vincent Kompany. We've not got his organisation. We haven't got his leadership on the pitch. We haven't got his quality anymore on the pitch. And without him being replaced and bringing in an alternative, obviously you can't replace his experience and his love for Manchester City, but you can bring in tall physical centre-back to sit on that front post and defend them. You do that, we don't concede this goal. Aymeric Laporte's injury is unfortunate, but this is a criminal goal to concede. 18 minutes in, it's a disaster. It gets even worse. 28 minutes in, some awful Kyle Walker defending. The ball's played through. I want to say right now that Pukki's 1, 2, 3 yards offside, but he isn't. He's onside because Kyle Walker isn't with the whole defensive line. He's ran ahead, playing them onside. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know whether to stick with the defender or go across and confront Pukki. And it turns out your 50-50 decision making was the wrong choice to make due to Pukki's outstanding knowledge of his surrounding areas and what to do. A danger man like Pukki, you'd think he'd go for the shot. And to be honest, the right decision here for Walker would have been to allow Pukki to have the shot. He scores and beats Ederson. We say, okay, fair enough, he scores and beats Ederson. Instead, Walker makes the decision for Pukki here. He cuts across, goes to confront him. The angle's working against him. He's being confronted from the defender. So he's banking on the player to go and make the run instead. And that's exactly what happens, and City end up then being caught out, and Cantwell was there, well placed, 28 minutes to go and put the ball in the back of the net. Cantwell had an excellent game, so did Sam Barham. I'll speak about them when we get towards the end. Now City under a lot of pressure, 2-0 down, ball comes in, Raheem Sterling's there, header, heads it onto the post, desperately unlucky there, just before half time, giving ourselves a lifeline. Bernardo Silva moved over to the left, Raheem Sterling moved over to the right, because Raheem Sterling wasn't having much luck on the left hand side of Man City's attack. Bernardo Silva found more luck, beautiful ball in, there's Aguero, decent header, gets the bounce, beats Krul, nods in, 2-1, Norwich under pressure, what they're going to do now. But all in all, half-time, just awful is what I've put from City. Defence, horrendous. I felt like Zinchenko didn't have a first game. I think this is the first Premier League loss we've had with Zinchenko starting too, but Zinchenko weren't having a very good game. Kyle Walker wasn't having a very good game. Our whole defence, John Stones and Otamendi, weren't having a very good game. Now, I felt like Man City were missing Kevin De Bruyne, was missing the directness of Leroy Sané, who's unfortunately injured. Obviously, we're missing Vincent Kompany, who's left, and was highly missing Aymeric Laporte, who unfortunately has got a long injury too. All this come into play. City's got a huge, well, not a huge squad, but they've got a huge quality in their team, even with players on the bench. So we have more than enough quality to deal with games. We're going up against 19th in the Premier League. We're going up against a team that got promoted just last season from the Championship. We're going up against a team that's probably going to be somewhere in and around the bottom 13 or 14. Well, I mean, finishing 13, 14 probably at best. No offence to Norwich, by the way. But that's the team that we're facing against, and Man City need to be doing better. If Norwich, don't want to sound disrespectful, so I put fair play to them. Are they going to continue to sit back in the second half and absorb the pressure and try and smash and grab, or are they going to take the game to Man City? What do they do? That 2-1, that goal just before half time to make it 2-1, gives them something to think about. It's a well-timed goal from Man City, so I thought this is going to be interesting. How do we go from here? And I still fancied our chances. Reminds me of the Swansea away game last season, the FA Cup, where City come back, put them under pressure, they get tired towards the end of the game, they concede 1, they concede 2, they concede 3, like that. Yeah, and there goes that. I think it was the 50th minute. Nicolas Otamendi, was he not aware of his surroundings? He was being pressed, but he loses the ball just after John Stones had a horrendous error to lead up to City being under pressure. They thought, they'll go and press Nicolas Otamendi like you do. Yeah. He gets dispossessed and Pukki's there to tap in. There goes that game plan. There goes that pressure. And then it goes 3-1. City huffed and puffed, bring De Bruyne on. I think they brought Riyad Mahrez on. They brought someone else on who, for the life of me, I can't remember who they brought on. It'll probably click to me at some point. But yeah, it's just disappointing, really. All of it was just disappointing. JSGC it was they brought on. We got a late goal. Rodri managed to fire it in, but it's just huffed and puffed. It just wasn't enough. The attack wasn't there. I'll speak about the attack in a moment, but the defence, I've got a huge problem with the defence here, because we will not win the Premier League with that defence, and with Laporte being out now until we're thinking around January time, yeah, we're stuck with this defence, and it needs sorting out ASAP. My opinion, you want to sort something out in this defence. I think, risky this, but I think now's the perfect time to just tinker with the formation and go to 3 at the back and move Kyle Walker to 1 position in the centre-back. Obviously, we've got John Stones coming back, so go with him or Nicolas Otamendi, but going off Otamendi's performance here, he was the worst out the 2 centre-backs in my opinion, so I'll go with John Stones and possibly look at having Fernandinho. If someone's mentioned Rodri, who was excellent in the air and excellent with his physical strength, so he might be an option going at centre-back, and going with a back 3 and going with Cancelo at right-back, and going with Benjamin Mendy coming back now, going with him at left wing-back and bombing up the wings, and maybe cutting off the wings and moving Sterling, Bernardo Silva into the centre instead. That's something I'd probably look at experimenting with, because what happened today just weren't working, and with the injuries here, I think it's a good time here to go and seek about doing something like that. So yeah, 3-2 Norwich. Well done to Norwich. But I'll just mention a note before I go to the look at the stats. Sam Byram, excellent. Don't normally do this, but my JSGC man of the match goes to him. I thought he had an excellent game there. I thought Cantwell, is that his name? Yeah, Cantwell. I thought he had an excellent game for Norwich. And all round, I thought Norwich played superbly well. One note I have made for Norwich here is that they showed the true fighting spirit, and if Man City showed that true fighting spirit, we'd win this game. I think when I went on the Etihad Stadium tour, they mentioned a lot about Man City's quality and stuff like that, but there's one quote, I can't remember if it is on the stadium tour. It certainly used to be, I don't know if it's still there, but it should be there if it isn't. It's hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And that is my summary, really, of this game. Norwich worked hard, they wanted it more, and they got it. Well done to them. Had a very good game, win the game, create the opportunity, put them in the back of the net. They can't ask for much more, and a solid defensive display really to keep Man City out as well. Put Man City under pressure, had a great game. Man City didn't work as hard as what I've come to expect from City, certainly what Pep won't expect of Man City either. And although we're at the early stages of the season, the warning signs are here. I'm not so much concerned about the result and falling 5 points behind Liverpool at this early stage, even though it is advantage to them. I'm more concerned that that gap's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger because we're just not good enough. It sounds crazy to say that City broke numerous amounts of records, but that's the standard that we've set. Liverpool know that standard. They're going to try their hardest to get to that standard and more. City need to be trying to match it, and at this moment in time, with our squad, in my opinion, being weaker, we're not near it. Now, stats: 31% possession for Norwich, 69% possession for Manchester City, 7 shots for Norwich, 3 on target, 3 goals. Can't criticise the goalkeeping, but I can criticise the horrendous defending, who are, in my opinion, to blame for the defeat today. Some responsibility needs to be taken by the attack. 25 shots, 8 on target. Poor conversion rate, 2 goals go in of them 8 on target, which is disappointing from City and shows just how well Norwich defended well in numbers. In terms of passes, 666, 89% pass completion rate from City. These stats, everything I've come to expect from City. The only thing that's not gone well here is the defending and City's ability of putting the ball in the back of the net. Something they've worked really hard on since the Tottenham game, and then they just let it happen again after the international breaks. Just too slow, too lethargic. You can't afford to do this in the Premier League. You really can't. Key passes, City had more. Clear-cut chances, 3 for Norwich, 3 goals. Fantastic. 4 for City, 2 goals go in. More crosses put in. 6 crosses put in by Norwich. They scored off 1, didn't they? 2 have connected, and 1 of them's turned into a goal, whereas City's put in 47 balls into the box or crossing across the pitch, connecting with just 8. 17% of our crosses connected. That is really poor, and that's what I mean, the offensive side of things. It wasn't fantastic from City. Tackles, Norwich a lot better. Interceptions, Norwich a lot better. Blocks, clearances, headed clearances, the defended deep, the duels, City were better than them, but majority or not, was dominated by Norwich. Norwich had a fantastic game. Well done to them picking up the 3 points. Disappointing though from Man City. I'm not got a huge cause for concern. It's just little things need tweaking. I'm concerned about the quality, but like I said, there's nothing City can do about this now until January. They've made an error. We made an error last season, not finding cover for Fernandinho and him getting up an injury, but managed to coast along with that with Gundogan. I fear the worst, though, with coasting along here. Pep normally finds some magic, finds a player that can play in a position. Maybe Fernandinho's the man, maybe he's not to do that, but we're looking really lacklustre at centre-back. We won't win the Premier League playing the majority of the Premier League games with Nicolas Otamendi and John Stones. I'll guarantee that to you right now. I think they're good players. I don't think they're anything more. That's my opinion. John Stones has got the potential to get to the next level. Otamendi obviously aging. I think he's a good defender, but we want to win the top trophies. We went with Kompany and Laporte for the majority at the conclusion of last season. Otamendi and John Stones, it's kind of like a B-Tech version of that, and that ultimately is, these results happen because of that. That's something that does need to be addressed. Unfortunate on the Laporte injury, but to make stupid errors, that Otamendi, I can't forgive it, I'm afraid. That I wouldn't even expect that at Conference North, Conference South level. That's 6th, 7th tier of football in England. I wouldn't expect mistakes like that. It's horrendous. Not being aware of what players are around you, when to play the pass. He's got plenty of time for that ball to go back to Edison, who's got a nice view of where everybody is. Otamendi's back's turned. It's just so poor and so disappointing. That's my summary. Norwich excellent, City poor. Where we've got the Champions League, luckily we're playing again in 3 days. Luckily we haven't got a week to dwell on this. We're playing in 3 or 4 days. We're playing on Wednesday, so we've got, what, 4 days travelling to the Ukraine. That isn't going to be an easy game. We've got a lot of lessons to be learned. They need to learn them quick. I'm hoping this is just going to be the little blip. This is going to be a little one result that we get. My fear is that there might be more to come, particularly with Otamendi and John Stones at centre-back if they don't learn the lessons. Work harder. Yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I think I've rambled along long enough now. I'll see you all again for the preview for that Shakhtar game. Be a very interesting video. Make sure you stay tuned for that. If you're interested, subscribe, press that red button, press the bell, put your push notifications on. Like I said, aiming for 5k subscribers. So any help towards that would be much appreciated. Go and check out my social media links if you so wish in description below and popping up on screen. If you want to go and search for me and follow me on there. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoy this video. Most importantly, let me know your thoughts of this in the comments below, and I'll see you all again for the next video. So it's been JSGC. Hope you'll have a wonderful rest of your day. Yeah, peace. Ciao for now.